All right, we're here with Randall King. Are you drinking anything? Because we're drinking a little beer. We have whiskey when we need it. Are you drinking anything over here?
I'm actually drinking coffee, man. I'm a coffee.
We have a serious problem because everybody that's been on the podcast lately hasn't been drinking. We're not trying to force anybody to, but it's just been
we encourage fan participation here.
But
from the fans, from the artists.
So as we start chatting, if you decide you want to,
you got a fridge right behind you. I know you do.
Oh yeah, man. No, I got a whole bottle of whiskey up there. So if we need to break into it, we will. I woke up just a little while ago, so we're on a coffee.
How'd you wake up? But I think you answered that.
Do you wake up? Do you usually wake up? Like, what's your routine daily? Like, are you up till 3 a.m. after a show? I know COVID's a little different.
Yeah.
This conversation is
right
now, but
man, it depends. So this being the first one of the week, we usually get to the bus, do bus call, and then we'll stay up and talk to about 2 a.m, go to sleep. But usually after shows, it takes you a while to wind down. So it could be about 4 a.m. before we finally go to bed. And then we roll up to the venue. We sleep till about noon, get up, work out, load in, do it all over again, baby.
Yeah, I mean, okay, because I feel like when we would talk to Co Wetzel, he'd always be like, that dude wakes up at 3 p.m, and I'm like,
yeah, he's a different entity.
No, that's
a whole different animal.
That's not. We did we're both married. We're in our early 30s, just turned 30 basically. So it's like, I just had my first son within the last 5 months, but like about a year ago with Co, we tried to go to Joe's bar to he was playing and all right, let's see how long we can. By the time the podcast was done, I was like, I'm blind. I can't see anymore from all the bourbon we drank. And now we got to go do
a show till 3 a.m.
concert that starts at 9 until 11 o'clock. And I thought maybe 30 minutes we lasted.
Yeah.
And then it was.
I'm in bed by 11 now.
You train you can.
Oh man,
you can train your liver.
Hey, that's all right.
But we're professionals. We drink often and a lot, and we have, and people know that. When you get to an age, that tolerance just fucking goes. It just
absolutely.
Just now we had 3 kids. I go, oh, I'm buzzed.
Yeah.
I tell you what, I lost a lot of my tolerance over all this COVIDness. I call it COVIDness. I lost it all over all that because, man, I was to the point where I could drink a half a bottle of whiskey and function and be just fine. And I tried that one night after about 4 months of being off, and it didn't go very well for me.
Yeah. We had a night like that, and our ladies were a little upset about it.
Yeah.
We drank an entire bottle between the two of us.
They were.
Played Madden, walked home. We're like, we're fine. Walked in.
You both play Madden. You play Madden. How good are you at Madden now?
Oh, well, we play each other for money, or we have some type of.
I would say Steve's probably better than me.
We're not very good.
I would say neither of us are very good.
You gotta let me in on that. You gotta let me in on that game, man. I've been playing Madden since I was in middle school. I'm game for it.
We'll have to do an in-person
We should just get on Twitch and start playing each other and recording it everybody in their
mother. Heck yeah.
All esports shit, that's crazy these days.
There was a lot of glitches though with this new version, so we waited to buy it, and then we play it. It's usually the loser has to do a really rough shot or something or buy the next round.
The bar match shot.
Yeah, it's or have you done the?
Bar match shot. That's the rough one.
Have you done a Malort shot though? A Chicago Malort. Do you know what that is?
No.
We'll have to christen you with that.
Yeah,
it's disgusting.
You ever done the bar match shot though?
No, have we?
No, I don't think
so. The bar match shot.
Can you explain?
The bar match shot was rough, man. We opened for Kyle Park. We did a tour with Kyle Park back in 2018 in the fall, and we got on their bus, and they'd been making drinks over there on the counter on those little bar mats. And to break us in, they paid us I don't know, we were pretty broke, so they paid us $20 and $30. And we took a bar mat shot because we didn't know what the hell it was. And they just took the bar mat, drained it into one little shot glass.
I haven't done it, but I worked at a bar in college where they would have they called it a birthday shot. So they would take the tray, the waitresses or waiters for the shots, and just keep filling a thing with it, and then they would give that to somebody.
God, that's rough.
Did you
No
puke?
thanks.
Did you puke?
Did I puke? No.
Well,
No, but that's with my bass player, and they put Tabasco and
I was gonna say, I feel like it's
milk and all sorts of different shit in it, and it was pretty rough.
It's probably better than you would think. When you mix enough shit together, it kind of just mellows everything out. It becomes kind of like a muddled, just, I think this is alcohol.
Oh hell, if you just plug your nose and throw it back, you won't even taste it anyway.
Yeah. Speaking of shots, Garth Brooks, do you think he drinks alcohol?
Shit. I think he'd have a.
That was my segue into like asking about Garth Brooks. So that was the best way I could do it. It's weird.
Man, I don't know. I've never.
The guy's an animal on stage, like sings about stuff, but I'm like, I want to see Garth just drink a fucking Coors Banquet, right?
Oh, I guarantee he'll drink a beer, but I don't know if I don't see Garth being one of the guys that gets real messed up after his shows or nothing. But
no, I mean,
I think he'd drink a beer with you. He's a country boy. He's from Oklahoma. I guarantee you, he grew up on that 3-2. He knows.
Or you want to ask him about the whole?
Yeah. So, what was it like for you with your first experience with Garth Brooks?
So my
publisher has to be like, what?
It was dude. It was unreal, man. He's by far one of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. The humblest person I think I've ever met, especially for being as superstar status as he is.
You'll be surprised to hear that.
I mean, my publisher was sending him songs and sending him a lot of my new stuff that hadn't been recorded, and he loved it. I mean, hell, his favorite song was "Burning to Both Ends," and he absolutely loved it. And my publisher was like, "Well, man, you want to sit down and write with him?" And as big as he is, he literally said, "Well, man, if he'd be willing to sit down and take the time to write with me, well, shit, let me move my schedule, Garth. Let me find something. Let me clear it out. I'll come up." So we sat down and we wrote, and the whole time, man, we were writing in his studio where he recorded everything he's ever recorded. And somebody would walk into the office, and he'd stop everything he'd do and be like, "Hold on, give me a second, I apologize." Walk up, shake their hand, bring them over to me, introduce them. He'd have the conversation. When they were done, he'd go, "Let me walk you out." And he walked them out the door, came back, apologized to me, and we kept writing. I mean, dude, he's the pinnacle, man. There ain't nobody better in my mind than Garth Brooks, man. He's classic. Ain't nobody better than Garth.
I believe that one. We have fun at Garth's expense. Obviously, we grew up loving his music, but I think as people as like the whole like internet kind of got where it is, and I think people are like laughing at it. It seems kind of like somebody let their dad get loose with their social media, and it's like funny. Like, so yeah, people know like we bust Garth's balls pretty hard. He's obviously a legend in a lot of ways, and he has a lot of big hits, but it's an easy, like, funny thing. But a lot of people say what you said. I will say that. Like, a lot of people are always like, dude's just nice as hell. And,
oh, absolutely,
man.
Are you
familiar with any of the rumors?
He's the greatest.
Are you familiar with any of the rumors that he may or may not be a serial killer?
Like, you know what that whole...
Yeah, I've heard those. I've heard those ridiculous rumors. It's
so funny though.
You go through his comments on Instagram.
Oh my god!
People have roasted. It's like, why, man? Y'all surely y'all don't really think that. It's because of the song "Friends in Low Places."
No,
I don't think anybody actually thinks that. It's more just like
I would hope not, man. That's crazy.
It's like a funny thing that
comedian started.
That's like snowballed into this like anything he posts now. All the
it's every single comment, man.
Well, even
it's
like
ridiculous.
The families need closure.
They're recording "Shallow."
Where's my family?
Yeah. They're putting "Shallow" out as their next single, the Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga song. Yeah. And then all the comments are like "Shallow grave, shallow grave, shallow grave." What are you saying? Like,
but it's like the girl that if you know him well, if you don't know him, he's a funny guy. He's got a few Netflix specials, but he basically started the whole thing. For people that don't know, we talked about it a bunch, but
yeah,
just the whole the world of Garth, of like he's so wealthy and so big that he didn't understand, like, he kind of took time off and he came back, and it became this funny thing of like, hey, does Garth like know what's really going on? How much does a beer cost? 12 grand. Like, it became this like funny running joke, and then it just turned into something else about being like, oh, what's he really doing?
What's he been doing? Yeah.
Miss Yearwood. Do you ever watch the Food Network? I watched Trisha and Garth came on the other day.
Sometimes, yeah.
The Garth on there making a vegan lasagna. I was like, this guy's got hits. And
I don't think he's a
recipe.
I didn't think he was vegan. I
don't think he is. I think he's just like, I'm gonna make a black bean lasagna for some reason.
Whatever you want.
I don't know. But that's a huge. But point being, bring us all around back. He singled you out when asked who does he like in the present day country landscape. There's a lot of cookie cutter people he could have picked. A lot of people. He could have said, "Oh, I love Blake Shelton," or I could whatever.
Yeah.
It could have been anybody. But he said like Randall King. I mean, he said it multiple times I've seen. So that alone, let alone the writing and other stuff, but like him saying that, it's got to be like a weird. The first time he did that.
Yeah.
How was that?
And it was. I mean, it's a big honor. I mean, I wasn't expecting it at all. And when he came out and said those things, it was really humbling, man. I mean, it's a big honor for somebody that you grew up as I was a kid watching all his music videos on CMT, just dreaming one day to be one of them big stars, man. And for him to endorse it like that, I mean, that's a big deal. And I mean, hell, when the pandemic broke out, he gave me a call, made sure that we were all doing okay and everything, and checked in on me with my family. And when my sister passed, I mean, dude, he's a great dude.
Yeah.
It's a hell of an honor to be endorsed by him.
Yeah, that's good.
I just want, that's really nice. I just want Garth to come on and acknowledge the jokes, because if he does, then he's gonna be on the side of all those people.
Yeah, he'll win it. He'll win
the whole situation if he comes out and like makes a joke about it.
If he just tweets, "I'm not a serial killer," like it would be hysterical. It would be absolutely hysterical.
Because he's such a dad's dad type of guy. You can just like,
I would love
it. He just up his hand on the farm or something. They said,
you know,
like. I guarantee you, he gets the jokes. He thinks it's funny.
You mentioned George Strait, and we have this down on our notes. A lot of people, when they listen to your music as a young artist, there's a feeling. I hate to use the word vibe, but a feeling of George Strait sometimes in your music.
Yeah,
that's got to be.
Hell. I grew up on Strait, man. You know, as a kid, you sit there, you want to be Garth Brooks, you want to be George Strait. And I mean, growing up in the 90s, obviously Alan Jackson was a big deal. Yeah. And really, man, my biggest influence is actually Keith Whitley. I'm a massive Keith Whitley fan. I think that he was cut too short, man. He would have been, in my mind, he would have been the greatest, man. And he still is the greatest. I love all his music. Hell, he cut that Randy Travis song before Randy did. He cut a couple George Strait songs before George did, and he blew them out the water. He just crushed them. And I don't know, man. We've got 3 new songs coming out, 4 new songs. Well, 4 new songs. One's already dropped, and the one in November that's coming out, when we cut it, it's called Hey Moon. When we cut it, I told my engineer, I said, when you mix this, I want you to think LA to Miami, Keith Whitley. He goes, game on. I beat it, paired them back to back. Shit, it sounds like it came right off that record, man. And it turned out great. And I'm excited to release that one. It's going to be good.
Can you quickly just explain what the mixing process means for people who don't really know?
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah, so you have your producer and you have your band in the studio, and you come up with all the parts and the arrangements. And then you've got an engineer that's EQing it, compressing it, messing with all the gain stages, and then they take it back. They go in the studio and they actually create and level everything out where it sounds. Basically, they just mess with the sound until it sounds the best that it can.
You have all the
process.
Guitar parts, vocal parts, drum parts.
Mm-hmm.
How do you put them all together and make the sounds in the right place?
Yeah, they level it all out. They compress it where everything's right in this pocket, and that's what creates. That's what creates the song. That's what you get. then it gets mastered and they send it out to Apple and Spotify and all those places, and that's where the listener comes in.
What's great about your music is you have some really talented people playing instruments. Whereas in a lot of mainstream country these days, it's a lot of, electronics, buttons, computer, drum beats, all that type of shit.
Everything that we try to replicate to where it's all natural instruments. And because if we can't replicate it live with a 5-piece band, it's not gonna fly. So everything we do really naturally. And we get a little experimental here and there, but for the most part, we keep it right down the line.
Yeah, I mean, I love that. And I think you're the type of artist, if you stick to that sound, which we love, you're gonna do huge things. And it's when an artist like yourself, which I'm plenty of them before you or during or current, they try to chase the money, they try to chase the trend, they change the sound a little bit. That's when they're gone. Like I feel like you lose them so quick. You don't seem like the type of guy that's gonna sway from real deal fucking like country music.
I can't, man. It's who I am. But I'll tell you, when my manager first started bringing me up to Nashville to write songs, he said, there's a lot of writers up here that are going to ask you to chase radio. They want a radio hit. He said, when you ride in the room, make sure you establish the fact that the song just needs to be whatever the song's going to be, and don't chase something. Because if you start chasing things, you'll never land on one specific thing that is you. It's just going to go around in a circle. It's got to be focused and dedicated on your brand and who you are and how you write. And so everything that we do, I'll make it a point that it's me, because if I write it and I cut it and I got to be the one to sing it for the rest of my career, I damn well better believe in it, because I'm not going to get up on that stage and sell you some kind of bullshit. Yeah. I can't. If I don't believe in it, it'll never come across.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think like the rest of the career thing is like so key, because a lot of artists are like, well, I'll put out this song right now. Maybe I'm not a big fan of it, but I think it'll do well on the radio. And then it's kind of like, well, in 20 years, are you going to wake up and be like, man, I was proud of that? Because like, me personally, like, I can't imagine doing something and then looking back on that and being like, man, like, I wish I.
If you don't love it and it hits and it goes to number one and you have to sing, you got to sing that for the rest of your career.
Yeah.
I mean, Ray Wiley he don't even like singing Redneck Mother anymore, but he'll tell you that on stage.
Yeah.
He said, but it's a big hit. I got to sing it every night. I don't want to sing it every night, but I got to sing it every night.
Yeah.
So make sure you love what you do when you cut it.
Mm-hmm. And I feel like that happens with certain artists. Even like Kid Moore's like Something About a Truck is one. I mean, to me, I still love that song. I think it's a fun song, but like you can tell that he's like,
he hates playing that song now. Like he hates playing. You have a mainstream artist that's a real artist whose first big song was like the best bro country version of a bro country song. We know him well. Like we know that he doesn't want to like if you go to an acoustic thing with this guy and you request that, he gets upset. I appreciate the honesty when an artist can say, look, that's not my best music. I don't want to. Let's do something else. Let's move forward. I think Thomas Rhett's another example. We don't expect you to kind of say anything here, but Thomas Rhett's another example where started out super country, writing super country songs, went into this weird phase, started dancing, started doing all these things, and now is all of a sudden doing this circle, and he's coming back to being like, oh, wait a minute, I do like country music. I want to come back to this whole like pop. Whatever, and a lot of people are like, I don't know, feeling that, seeing that. They see a Luke Combs blowing up this 90s sound. They see a guy like you coming up, getting signed by Warner. Yeah. Wait a minute. Oh, traditional country, John Party.
Are you feeling that pendulum swinging?
Yeah, it's got to be like
absolutely, man. The thing is, man, it's always been there. It never went away. It kind of got lost in the shuffle and the hype of what's been going on mainstream radio. And you're watching the pendulum swing back around to real traditional country. And dude, I'll be honest, man, I don't hate what's been going on for the last 10 years. I don't hate it. It's not really necessarily my style. I'm not going to put it on and jam to it all the time, but I don't hate it. But it's cool to watch country music.
When
the whole thing will come back full circle, man. And it's, I mean, between John Party, my boy Kojo, Luke Combs, I mean, there's countless others. I mean, Jacob Brown, there's a lot of guys that are coming around on that countryside. And I think people are catching on.
Was there any blowback from you as being like a Texas guy signing with Warner? Like, because I felt like, me personally, I was like, fuck yeah, Randall King got that record deal. Let's go. Like, I get hyped.
Speaking of Kojo, there's a lot of people that get upset.
Well, because Kojo, like, same kind of thing. They're like, oh, sell out. Like,
yeah, I mean, everybody's going to get that because you go from being an independent artist. Oh, they signed with Nashville. It's going to change him. No, man, the record deal that I signed, hell, even the record deal that Kojo signed.
Yeah.
I didn't sign anything without establishing the fact that I could be myself. And Warner's incredible.
Yeah.
And they've given me free reign to record the way I want, how I want, the songs I want. They've got a say in it. But the difference in why I signed with them was I had final say. They literally gave me final say. They said, if you don't believe in it, don't cut it. Because when I sat them down, that's the first words out of my mouth. I said, if I don't believe in something, I cannot sell it on stage. So I'm not going to cut it. And they given me free reign to be that. And they believe in what I'm doing. And they fully support it. And they're marketing the hell out of it. And 2020 is what it is. 2021 will come up and we'll kick the door down. So
yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
What is because like to me, I hear your music and I think George Strait. Have you heard any other comparisons, or is that like the main one?
We get a lot of different ones, man. I've gotten Josh Turner, I've gotten Clay Walker, I've gotten Strait, I've gotten Alan Jackson, Whitley. I've even got a little bit of Chrissy Bird, Mark Chestnut. And the biggest thing for me out of all that is all those guys are country as hell.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's great.
That's where I was going with that.
There's no bullshit. There's no. You kind of remind me of Florida Georgia Line.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah, baby, you a song, man. Jesus.
Yeah. Oh God.
Country, baby. You gotta keep it country.
Yeah.
Who are some of the guys in the mainstream right now that you really dig? Like, who are? I mean, not even in mainstream. You can throw just text.
As far as like what am I listening to right now?
Yeah.
I'll tell you, to be honest with you, I'm actually a really big Morgan Wallin fan. I love what that dude's doing.
Yeah.
He's got a little bit of pop in him, and he'll tell you that himself.
He's a crazy writer, I think.
What he does is everything he does to me is just great. His melodies are phenomenal. And honestly, him and a young kid named Jake Worthington. Jake's opened up quite a bit for it. He's a young kid out of Houston. He's country to the core, man. He's Daryl Singletary mixed with Mark Chestnut, and he's straight out of that era.
Yep.
He's an old man trapped in a young man's body, and he's just got one of the best voices I've ever heard, man. I love listening to him.
It's funny when you mention Morgan because we'll get some comments on when we share his music they're like, how do you guys hate Florida Georgia Line, but you'll post a Morgan? And I'm like, it's not, for us, it's not comparable. And even a lot of really staunch traditionalists give Morgan Wallin credit for being like a really good, clever songwriter. Like tons of people that aren't in his music are like, I'll give him credit. He writes a good country song for the main, like,
honestly, I think Florida Georgia Line's got a couple of brilliant songs.
Yeah. Of course. Like, and take Up Down out of the Morgan Wallen thing. Up down. Like, okay, we get it. Okay, up down, we get it. Yeah, this way. But I appreciate when the traditionalists that don't listen to his music listen to it, or somebody like him, maybe even a Luke Combs
with a critical ear,
and say, oh, much better than I thought. Much better. Because there's a lot of stuff that's worse. You know, like there's a lot of people that are making it right now on the mainstream charts that are not good. Yeah. But there's a lot of people now that are coming out that I'm like, this is nice. Like it's poppy-ish, but it's better. It's this, it's that, it's gotten better. And that whole phase, I think, has slowly started to kind of, it's a thing of the past. The Florida Georgia Line style of a pop song is.
I'll tell you, the biggest thing I respect in an artist is to be able to write your own stuff. When you're Morgan Wallin, when you're Eric Church, I mean, even Florida Georgia Line writes a lot of their own stuff. So, I mean, to me, the best comparison to a true artist that I could ever come up with is Merle Haggard. Merle Haggard wrote so many of his own songs. I mean, he's still got hundreds of songs back in the vault that never even got released. So, to me, a true artist that has honed their craft is a great writer. And dude, honestly, man, Morgan Wallen's a great writer. I think he's a phenomenal writer. His melodies are solid. And, well, I mean, whether people like him or not, I think he's great. So.
Yeah, and he the ladies like him in Alabama.
Yeah, that's no shit.
I mean, they like you too, everybody.
They like you.
You're just smarter about not posting it. But.
They like you at Texas Tech too, or you hang out.
Not posting. He didn't post it. You got a question, because I think a lot of people are curious. It's like, obviously Morgan was ensuring that stuff, but you have to be aware. I mean, even we are, right? Like, we go somewhere back when things were normal, and if we're hanging out with people, I know, okay, we have a business, we have to act a certain way. To an extent, but also a part of what we do is just drink and have fun and be funny and whatever.
Yeah, man.
But you have to think about it, right? Like, oh, somebody might be recording me. Somebody, I got a cowboy hat on. I'm being a normal guy. Somebody's like, who is that guy? I find out when I record it. Oh, he's making out with a girl. Oh, I got to record it. Was that in your head, or I don't know? If
you have to. Oh, absolutely, man. There's a point of protecting your brand, protecting your image, and I mean, just going about things a smart way. Now, do we party? Hell yeah. Party.
Up till 3 in the morning.
a lot of our stuff we'll be up on this bus and there's no phones. We can just cut loose and have fun.
Yeah, just have a good, be present.
Yeah, man. But you definitely, when you go out, there's usually if I go out on an off day, I'm probably going to be in glasses, a ball cap, basketball shorts, and flip flops because nobody's going to recognize me that way, and I can go be myself and not have to worry about it too much. But you do have to protect that image and protect that brand. And honestly, dude, with what Morgan was doing, he was just being a guy. He was just cutting loose. But
yeah, I think if it wasn't COVID, fine. Like if it wasn't COVID and like he didn't have to go to
nobody would have said anything. Hell, he's outlaw.
TikTok and all this bullshit. Like, it's just like
my whole thing was when I was writing some of these articles. I'm like, he's a rock star doing rock star things. Like none of this is new. This isn't new at all. Like
no.
I don't know where this whole like thing was like.
We were like not in that like, but we were single guys in college at one point. Like you just went to a bar and you did single guy girl things.
That girl like
it's not that.
No, there was if it wasn't for COVID, there really wasn't anything that he did wrong. Just being a normal guy out partying. Yeah. But in the middle of a pandemic. It doesn't look bad. So I mean, I get why he'd apologize, but it is what it is. They don't make him a bad guy by any means.
Do you live in Texas full time, or are you in Nashville at this point?
And I actually I bounce back and forth between Nashville and Texas. I actually don't have a home in Texas right now. I'm looking at houses out by Lake Texoma because that's kind of my peace place. We've had a family reunion there for about 70 years, so it's kind of a second home to me. So I'm looking at places out there, but hell, I'm up in Nashville pretty often, man. So I'm kind of halfway a resident, I guess.
We know a lot of people moving to Texas, and
they're moving to Texas.
Oh yeah, people from all over are moving to because of what's going on with taxes and everything. Everybody's leaving California, leaving Illinois, leaving New York City, like Texas. Yeah. A lot of places, Carolinas, the Tennessee, Colorado, like a lot of people are just leaving the big
three.
Texas is becoming like you saw Joe Rogan just bought a fucking mansion there, like
Joe, yeah, he did.
Podcast.
He knows what's up. Yeah, man.
Where did he Las Vegas?
We just got it. We got it figured out back in Texas, man. We know what's up.
Yeah, I mean,
we did my bachelor party earlier this year in Austin, and I was like, I'll move here.
Now, Austin's a different entity. Austin ain't.
Yeah,
I don't know. Austin's a whole different city, man.
That's true.
If you go out, if you compare like Austin to like Fort Worth, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
But
my wife went to Dallas for work or something, and she was telling me stuff, and I was like, "This sounds like you went to another country compared to Austin, where we were." Like completely.
Austin's something
Dallas
different.
And Austin were just like. Texas is its own country, in my opinion, right? It should be. It's like its own country. There's so
we've got mountains, we got deserts, we got oceans.
You got snow up here. You got like this down there. You have political views that are all over the place. You have different cities that are completely different.
Swampy in the east, flat in the west.
Like you can go.
Hell, we could have our own military pretty easy. Yeah. Well.
But
I don't know.
I think you should.
There's so many small towns around Texas that make it great.
I love Texas. I think you should find a place and live there more than Nashville if you can.
I know. I'm for sure, man. I go up to Nashville to work, and I was driving around. Actually, we were driving from some of the small towns around Austin back up to Lukenbach. No, we were driving from Corpus to Lukenbach is what it was. And I was telling my buddy that lives up in Nashville that's riding with me, I was like looking around and looking at the scenery, and you just feel at home, man. And I was like, I can't leave Texas. I just don't think I can. Yeah. It's just home. It's good people.
There's also a loyalty to it that I don't think maybe New York has.
There's a weird.
I'm proud of our state, man.
Aggressive loyalty.
Yeah, like where like New York City, people have that like New York City, best city in the world. Like, okay, cool, but like Texas, like, the whole state is like Texas, man. They get that tattooed on their chest, and
yeah,
I'm like, that's kind of
because
nobody wants.
I know people that got it branded on.
I was born in Illinois. It's the worst. It's the worst state in the union.
Like, yeah.
God,
yeah, that oh yeah.
You agree.
I know some boys that shit they do in Yellowstone where they brand you. Yeah, I know some old boys with Texas actually branded on them, man. So that's real. We take pride in our state.
We're proud to be here. Do you watch Yellowstone?
Hell yeah, I watch Yellowstone.
Yeah, we post about it.
I ain't putting none of my songs on yet. I'm still hoping.
I feel like it's a matter of time because your music fits beautifully into that.
We'll tag them in this podcast and be like, get Randall King.
Hell yeah. Tell me come on.
Honestly, the music on that show, like, thank God a show came along that gave
such a spotlight.
And a platform to like a Whiskey Myers, who's our favorite band in country music, or I mean, all of Ryan Bingham, who's an absolute
Bingham, Tyler Childers,
just
Hayes Carl, all those guys, man.
There's all these people are like, oh, what is this music? I'm like, this is country music, you fucking moron.
Even Luke Bryan was like, man, I love the music. It's like,
we made an article busting his balls. He's like, I don't know that cowboy music. I'm like, it's just country music.
Yeah,
like, just listen to it and enjoy it.
I'll tell you what's funny about that, man. Luke is actually he's one of my favorite writers too, man. He wrote One Good Direction. He wrote Good Directions, man.
Oh, right, with Billy.
Dude, that damn song, that's one of the best country songs ever written. So I think
we met Luke. We met Luke at Wrigley Field, like, was that 2 summers ago?
Yeah.
And I will say this, we've said this on the podcast before, but I'll say it again because you brought it up, or I brought it up, but you brought it up, and then I brought it up again. He, as a superstar, like a very cool, nice guy.
Down to earth.
Yeah, man.
Like, just a lot of people that are nowhere near his stature who are total fucking scumbags. That any other scenario you would like want to punch him in the face.
Yeah.
And he's not that guy.
Yeah.
So
he's super nice.
I just wish he's got so many good songs on his records, that 1 or 2. But then back in the day he had like 4 or 5 that were just, he's getting older, he's got a family and wife, he's got older, like, our thing on the pocket's always been just shift to that a little bit.
Yeah.
You're getting your 40s, just shift to that. enough with the other fucking laser lights and dancing, and
Well,
he can make a good country song. We all know that.
And I just found this out today, but apparently he cut a song, or he co-wrote a song with Brent Cobb on that new record. And I was
Brent
like,
Cobb on the record.
And I was like, because Brent Cobb co-wrote Tailgate Blues with back in his old album.
One of my favorite songs.
And then he kind of like returned the favor, and they co-wrote a song together for Brent Cobb's new album, Keep Them on Their Toes. And I'm like, what? Luke Bryan's got on a Brent Cobb record right now?
If most fans heard that, they get pissed. They go, whoa, what the fuck?
But it's like
he's a writer first, man. He's a writer first. He came by and
honestly. The American
That's how he
Idol
got his teeth when he started. He was right.
The American Idol stuff. Come on.
Yeah, I don't watch any of that, but
it's because
I just watched Yellowstone.
Oh my God, dude, the voice in American Idol, and it's so bad. It's so cringe-worthy bad.
How did, like, speaking of, like, because that kind of thing, that's like a way to go. You can try and do that, or you can like cut your teeth in bars. I imagine that's kind of how you've done things. Like, what
man, well, to be honest, man, I had offers from The Voice and American Idol. There was one, I think Shania Twain was on. I forget which one that was. I had an offer for that too. And, my management came to me and they were like, you can do this if you'd like. It's good exposure. And I was like, you know what? I don't want to be known as somebody that was on a TV show. I've been cutting my teeth in the honky-tonk bars and the dive bars since I was 22, 23 years old. And I'm already there. So I'd rather be known as the honky tonker than some kind of TV star.
That's it.
Would you recommend that to most artists? Like, what would?
I love hearing that.
Not even necessarily TV show or not, like, because it's not like those are the only two ways to do things.
Yeah, man. No, dude, if you got a shot at exposure and you can live with that, take it. My thing was, there's so much work, blood, sweat, and tears that I'd already put in those dive bars and them honky tonk bars. That was part of my brand, it's part of who I am, and I wanted to keep it that way. If it takes me a little bit longer to get there, so be it.
I don't even think
I wanted to be true to who I was.
There's so many artists people don't realize were on like reality shows. That when we posted stuff, we've had like teams reach. I'm like, can you delete that? Can you like? We're like, what? Yeah. But a lot of really good artists were on shows back in the day before it was like what it is now, like
Casey Musgraves, Texas Star or something like that, and Miranda Lambert too, I believe.
Chris Young was.
Wasn't Alan Jackson even on some kind of TV show like way back in the late '80s?
Maybe, yeah.
Justin Timberlake.
I saw a video of it sometime.
Justin Timberlake was singing.
Alan Jackson
on like the Mickey Mouse Club or some shit. Like,
yeah, that's what Britney Spears the same way. Him and Britney were on the Mickey Mouse Club.
But
together.
I think there was a phase where it was like, oh, cool, it's helping the genre like be more what it is. Yeah. And then it turned into like, oh no, now we can just make country music, whatever the fuck, whoever the fuck wants to walk out of that door just comes out here and just starts singing some whatever.
And they'll already have a following from being on.
Well, that was part of that too, man. If you go to one of those TV shows, and as country as I am, if they tell me to sing some rock and roll and do different things, try to be a little bit different from my brand, I didn't need anybody telling me who I was. I already know who I am. I've already been doing it.
Conviction.
We always talk about that.
Yeah.
Man.
Conviction.
I know exactly who I am.
Those are those two words that I just always come back to. Like, who has conviction in their music and their songwriting, and who is authentic and who they are as a person. And that's what I want from an artist. And I think you exemplify that in a ton of ways. Yeah. And I'm not just blowing smoke up your ass.
We don't say this.
I don't say this to everybody.
Thank you
about your music and.
Well, I appreciate that, man. You guys have done a lot for me, sharing a lot of my stuff coming up, and y'all made me some fans, man. So I appreciate it very much.
You're also active on Twitter, so I like that you like always retweet our shit.
Yeah. Well, I'm a big fan of you guys.
Before we let you go, album, new single, new song,
songs coming out? What's going on?
What's the plan for the next? I know it's been a weird year, but looking forward to the next.
It's been a hard year.
6 months. Yeah.
So what we're doing from October through December, we're releasing a 4-song EP. We dropped the first one the first week of this month, called Taking It As It Comes. I wrote it with Mark Nessler and Tony Martin, the guys that wrote Just to See You Smile. Yeah. And it'd been sitting in my back pocket for a while. And this EP, we wanted to make sure this EP reflected me and my personal history and when I first started it. And it was supposed to drop out in the spring, but COVID pushed everything back to the fall. And it kind of, as hard as it is to say, it kind of worked in that favor, because this EP is a reflection of my personal history between struggling with depression, anxiety, OCD in high school and in my early youth, to the early struggles of my career. And it just happens to tie into my sister. So we named the EP Leanna. My sister passed back in April from gastric sleeve complications that she had back in 2013. She had liver failure, and I thank you, man. It's all right. I'm coming to terms with it, but everything that we're doing on this EP, I'm dedicating to her. It's under her name, Leanna, and we got 4 songs. The very last song is the song that I sang her home to Jesus to, and proud to say I had that opportunity. Didn't think I'd ever use my talents for that, but I sang her home to Jesus with a song called "I'll Fly Away," and we cut my version of that, and it's beautiful. And we'll drop it right around her birthday in December, and it's gonna be good, man. So that's the plan with those 4 songs.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to that. I got a little bit of a goosebump going on.
Yeah, I got teary-eyed you talking about that. So I think it's a good. I mean, I'm a good place to end it.
Familiar with "I'll Fly Away," like such a classic hymn, and that.
Well, we cut it a little bit different. It's not quite so bluegrass upbeat. It's a little more my speed. It's kind of reminisces off of a song that I wrote for her and I's grandfather when he knows me, about his Alzheimer's, and it kind of reminisces off that style a little bit. So it's pretty good, man. I'm excited to drop it.
Well, Randall, we can't thank you enough. Hopefully soon we can do this in person.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I'd love that. Well, I'll drink one with you in person.
Love your music, and we're gonna keep sharing it, and we're gonna. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that very much, guys.
The guys that I think a lot of people like us that love country music, we know you're carrying a torch in a lot of ways for the young guys, carrying it into the. So we're really happy that you're one of those guys. So.
Well, thank you, man. I'm proud to just be able to get to do what I do.
Thinking about family now, so cheers to that.
Well,
we'll see you soon on the road, hopefully.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Maybe in Colorado, maybe here, but probably in Colorado. We'll come out there, do some edibles.
Are you guys in Chicago?
We're in Chicago right now. I'm moving to Colorado in a couple of months, so we'll have you out in Colorado. We'll do some edibles. Yeah. We'll go exploring, go fishing.
I'm game for that.
Yeah.
I'm a big fisherman, so I'm down for that. I appreciate you, boys. Thank you for having me on today, man.
Cheers, Randall. See you.
Y'all be good. I appreciate you guys. I don't know how to end this thing.